Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I am finally bringing you the team building video for my Week 7 game of the Pokemon Premier League. Yes indeed, now it has been such a long time, this is very late and I do apologise. Once again, I've sort of gotten myself behind with a lot of my videos, for which I apologise. You know, it has been a while. But you know, hopefully I can try and get myself back on track, you know, within the next few weeks. A lot of league stuff going on, obviously the extension to the SND league, that's going to mean that things get in the way as well. So there's a lot going on. I'm not around very much anymore, so yeah, I'm behind, but you know, these things, they happen. Hopefully we can sort this out in the short term and then in the long term for sort of subsequent seasons. But team builder, week 7, Jack, aka the Donphanatic, and Norwich Skitty. His links will be down in the description below. He is the man who brought this league together. He is one of the most improved players around, and he's got a very spooky team. Always enjoy going up against Jack. It's always good fun. We have a lot of good smack talk before the games, and there's always a lot of pride at stake. There's a lot riding on this game. It's not just our positions in the table. Mine, by the way, is low. I'm not doing so well, as you know. I'm 2-4. I think Jack's like either 4-2 or 5-1. He's doing really well, and it's no surprise because Norwich Skitty's team this season is very good. But I'm hoping that following on from last week, where we got back on track with the win over Schady, we can continue that kind of good form into this week. But, as I say, Jack's team is going to be tough to overcome. I'm going to take you through the mons he can choose from. They should be there. They should be appearing on your screen. Right about now, we have got Mega Latios, Skarmory, Florges, Nidoking, Zoroark, Heliolisk, Gastrodon, Donphanatic, and Hitmonlee. Very scary stuff. Mega Latios appears for the first time in the PPL, and he's been doing quite well with it actually. It's a very scary thing. The Skarmory Florges core is just disgusting and makes me want to vomit. Nidoking is the consummate wall breaker. Zoroark is very tricksy. Heliolisk Jack's used very well in the previous season. He knows how to get the best out of it. Gastrodon is just an annoyance. Donphanatic is super spooky. It can hit incredibly hard. Hitmonlee is dangerous setup late game sweep material. So, we're going to have our work cut out here. But, I've put together a team that I'm sort of kind of a little bit happy with. And I think that at the very least we can give him a run for his money. So, I'm going to take you through that team right about now. And the first member of Parasect Germain's team to go up against Norwich Skitty is going to be Latias. Redmond the Latias is back. Has been so very much underperforming this season, so I've decided to go properly offensive for what I think is the first time. We've just got Choice Scarf Latias here, with Levitate of course, Draco Meteor, Psyshock, Thunderbolt and Healing Wish. We've got max special attack, max speed, timid. Kind of necessary if he wants to bring a max speed Mega Latios. That way, at the very least, I'm guaranteed to outspeed it. I'm actually guaranteed to outspeed everything on his team, I think, barring an unburdened Hitmonlee. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to go. So yeah, Scarf Latias, hopefully going to be doing some damage. Draco is going to be my own form of clickbait. It is hitting everything neutrally, except for the Skarm and the Florges. Skarmory, that gets bopped by a Thunderbolt. I feel like it's a 2-hit KO. Psyshock is going to be my best option to hit the Florges. It's not great, but I don't really have anything else to do it. I think the next best it gets, I think it gets Steel Wing, which I'm not doing. No, not happening. Not even a little bit. Yeah, Latias is pretty much very self-explanatory. Outspeed things and hit him hard is what I'm going with here with Latias. He does, of course, have some dark priority. You know, Nidoking and Zoroark. They can be doing Sucker Punch shenanigans. Hitmonlee does not get Sucker Punch, I think. Oh no, it might do. Yeah, I think it does. So that could be a bit of a problem. He's got several Sucker Punches, lots of priority. But Latias is here just to try and nuke things in revenge. Is basically the way it goes. As I say, Scarf is necessary. I don't want to risk speed ties with a potential max speed Mega Latios. So yeah, Scarf Latias. Hopefully it can finally do some work. It would be nice to see. So yeah, that's Latias. Now, next up on the team, we need an answer for Donphanatic, because Donphanatic is super spooky. So what we've got is Jellicent, Bladoop with the Rocky Helmet. Max HP, max defense, bold, with Scald, Shadow, Toxic, and Recover. Recover was initially Giga Drain, but as far as that Gastrodon is concerned, like, the Rindo Berry is very much the thing he could be packing. It's unlikely that Giga Drain would take it out anyway, because if he's bringing it, I expect specially defensive. Simply because he doesn't fear too much from a physical Blaziken anyway. And Blaziken's only Grass Stab is Hidden Power Grass or Grass Knot. I think it gets both of them. So yeah, I'd be expecting specially defensive Gastrodon, possibly with the Rindo. So, you know, Toxic and Recover is going to be a way of wearing that down. Rocky Helmet, you know, take hits from Donphanatic, please. I'm aware that if he's like Adamant Band, Jellicent is not taking a hit, but I'm also aware that if he's Adamant Band, nothing is taking a hit, so it's rather irrelevant. My way of dealing with Donphanatic is going to be Rocks and Recall, so Rocky Helmet's going to help out there. If I can get a Scald off, so much the better. Shadow Ball, that's nice to be hitting that Mega Latios again, as I say. This is pretty much walled by Heliolisk. The only way I can deal with it is to get a Toxic off, by which time, you know, I will be dead. So, I won't be staying in on Heliolisk if he brings it, put it that way. Yeah, Scald, Shadow Ball, Toxic, Recover, it's fairly standard fare on a Jellicent. Just looking to try and take hits and pray to God he hasn't brought Banded Darm, which, to be fair, he could do. So yeah, that's Jellicent. It'll also hopefully be able to 1v1 Skarm. No, it won't. That's a lie. Well, maybe with enough burn and special defense drops it will. But yeah, it can take a hit from Skarm. It can possibly take on Nidoking if it isn't packing Thunderbolt. And Hitmonlee, you know, it'll probably take a knockoff and be able to get a Scald off and hope to get a burn. So yeah, Jellicent, Toxic, the nasty things that aren't called Skarmory, wear things down, try and take a hit from Darm is basically all I've got for it. So yeah, that is Jellicent, that is #1 go-to guy for Donphanatic, but eventually Jellicent will probably be worn down to the point where it can't take a hit, so I'm going to need a secondary option, and that is going to be Weezing, Pork and Beans, who, you know, has very good natural physical defense. What we've got here is a black sludge set. Sludge Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, and Flamethrower. We have 164 in HP, max special defense with that calm nature, and 92 in speed. Weezing is a sort of secondary full health switch into the Darm. It will hopefully take a hit. And the thing is, my thinking around it is, the only time I'm going to be bringing Weezing in on Darm is if Jellicent's gone down, Darm's at low enough health to the point where I can take a hit. He can take Recall and I can pick him off with a Sludge Wave. The main point of Weezing is going to be to take on that Hitmonlee. I don't need to be physically invested to take on Hitmonlee. I can take any given hit from it and threaten it out with a Willow. Now, 92 in speed. With this, I outspeed a non-invested Skarmory. I can taunt it, I can stop it setting up hazards. I don't have hazard removal this week. But the most likely hazard removal on the field is going to be his own Skarmory. So I can either stop him from setting up hazards with the taunt and then start Will-O-Wisping and Flamethrowing, or if he gets them up, he's going to have to defog them away if I can get my hazards up, which is very important because I have Rocks on this team, he has a Donphanatic and a Heliolisk who are going to be U-turning around, Volt switching out, one of them is going to be most likely choiced, so he's going to want to be getting rid of any Rocks on his side of the field. So yeah, Weezing is still going to be trying to stop him from getting hazards up in the first place. Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, standard fare again, once more. Of course, if I'm outspeeding a Skarmory, I'm outspeeding a Gastrodon, so I can taunt that and stop it recovering up, if at all possible. Special defense investment, hopefully to take some hits on the special side, you know. It's not going to be tanking to me from Mega Latios, but it might take one from a Nidoking, it might take one from a Heliolisk, it could very well take one from a Zoroark. So yeah, Weezing, especially a defensive thing that can deal with Hitmonlee is always nice. Taunt things that are slower than it, stop him setting up the hazards, and try and get chip damage here and there. So, I, at this point, kind of need some physical offense on this team. That is going to come in the form of my 4th team member, Krookodile. Krookodile is going to be a sort of leftovers, intimidating, pseudo-defensive set. If I can try and bluff a defensive set, he might not see me coming as being fully offensive and very speed invested. So what we've got is, as I say, leftovers, intimidate, Earthquake, Crunch, Iron Tail, and Rocks. We've got 52 HP, max attack, 204 speed, Jolly. This allows me to outspeed the Adamant Donphanatic and anything slower than it. Earthquake, standard fare, you know, hit things hard, it'll hit the Nidoking, probably Oko it, it'll Oko Heliolisk, it'll do big damage to the Oko Dom, and do fairly sizable damage to the likes of Hitmonlee, possibly Florges, but I have Iron Tail mainly for Florges, which is certainly a 2-hit KO on pretty much any variant you could choose to go with. Crunch, not knockoff. Mega Latios is a potential problem. I've said that he could be bringing max speed. Something else he could also be bringing is Calm Mind, which is hovering on the edge of my mind. So in that instance, Crunch is going to be better than knockoff. I can't knock off his item, of course, he's a Mega, so it's not going to be doing as much damage. So I want Crunch to do as much damage as possible. That is pretty much all I want Dark offense for on his team. It is my best thing on this Crook to hit the Skarmory, but God forbid do I stay in on a Skarmory with Krookodile. I have other ways of dealing with it. And yeah, Stealth Rocks. I want Stealth Rocks up. You know, it pressures the Skarmory to defog. It hugely pressures his Dom and his Heliolisk. Those are 2 big threats on his team that I have sort of singled out that I want to get residual damage on whenever I can, because as I say, they're going to be U-turning and Volt Switching around if he brings them. So Rocks are going to be really nice for that. And of course, if I get Rocks up and he brings in Skarmory, I can go into something on the defog and try and work from there. So that is Krookodile, a very brief look there. But I still want a bit more offense physically. So, for the 5th member of the team, we are going to have Blaziken. Yeah, Shamo the Blaziken. I have a Citrus Berry on it this week. We have got Flare Blitz, Earthquake, Night Slash, and Agility. 92 HP, max attack, Adamant, 164 in speed. With an Agility up and that speed investment, I am outspeeding everything unscuffed, I believe, on his team. I'm certainly outspeeding everything unboosted. I might outspeed some scuffed here and there. We have the Citrus Berry because, you know, Blaziken, obviously, it's not the bulkiest. If I can get an Agility up, take a neutral-ish hit, get the Citrus Berry back, I'll be looking to fire off a few good hits. Flare Blitz, Earthquake, Night Slash, decent coverage for his team. Night Slash is, once again, it's the kind of crunch I deal with Krookodile. I want Night Slash to be able to take out that Mega Latios. Again, another reason I'm running it over knockoff. Flare Blitz, good coverage across most of his team. The only thing it's not hitting is Mega Latios, for which I have the agility, the Night Slash. It's not hitting the Gastrodon, who hopefully I'll be able to wear down with Jellicent. And it's not hitting the Donphanatic, for whom I have Earthquake. So yeah, that's Blaziken. Could be a good late game sweeper. Certainly if I've got damage onto that Gastrodon and the Skarmory does not have Sturdy, I'll be able to come in with Blaziken and do some really big damage. So, with that out of the way, we'll move on to the 6th member of the team, and that is going to be the returning Sylveon. Sinatra returns. It's been a while since we've used Sylveon, I think. We of course have Pixelate. We've got the Kebia Berry as the item. Hyper Voice, Psyshock, Wish, and Baton Pass. 244 HP, max defense with that bold nature, 12 into speed. Very, very standard fare on this guy. You know, Hyper Voice, Psyshock, they do what they do. I wanted to bring Specs, but in the end I just decided I wanted a little bit more physical defense. Jack has some very potent physical threats that I don't really want to be dealing with. And you know, it's got very good natural special bulk. With the Kebia Berry, that's so I can take a hit from that Nidoking or potentially the Zoroark, which of course now gets Sludge Bomb. Or Poison Jab from Hitmonlee. You know, a lot of his things do get poison coverage, but with the Kebia Berry, I'm taking pretty much any of them, and I can fire off a Hyper Voice or a Psyshock as I see fit. Wish and Baton Pass, you know, keep the team healthy, try and get some momentum here and there if I can, you know, if I can predict a switch into something to stop Sylveon. For example, the Skarmory, maybe the Florges, Gastrodon depending on its spread. Then I can baton pass out, try and get some initiative and fire off a big hit with like a Krookodile, with Lati, with Blaziken, any of these things. So that's a pretty brief look at the team. I don't like my matchup particularly, but that doesn't really say too much. You know, this league format is the kind of format where you can work around matchup difficulties very effectively with some nice set building. However, there are still threats on his team that cannot be denied. Biggest threats on Jack's team, the two I would single out the most, and you know, I'm singling them out from a lot, there's a big crowd. Mega Latios and Donphanatic. You know, much as Heliolisk he has used very effectively in the past, much as Nidoking is a potent wall breaker, and much as Hitmonlee is a very good late game sweeper, I think I have ways and means of dealing with all of them. You know, I can outspeed Nidoking with a multitude of things. Heliolisk, I feel like I have ways of dealing with as well. Hitmonlee, I have guaranteed options for. But the Mega Lati, depending on its set, could be devastating. The Donphanatic, depending on its set, could just rip through my team. Or at least get massive chip damage for something else to come in and sweep up late game, you know? So those are the two that I would really single out as his biggest threats, Mega Latios and Donphanatic. Now, as far as the rest of his team goes, who do I think he's going to be bringing? Well, Mega Latios at the top of his list, I'm absolutely certain he'll be bringing that. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. He will feel, I think, like he has ways of dealing with the likes of Sylveon, with my own Latias, and various other things that could try and do damage to it. Skarmory and Florges, that's a core that I could see him bringing as well. They work very well in tandem. They're just disgusting, to be honest. Nidoking, yep, I reckon Nidoking is going to be a fourth. You know, there's never a bad option really to bring Nidoking, I feel. You know, with the coverage it gets, you're never looking at Nidoking and going, I can't really hit enough to want bringing it, because you can always hit pretty much everything your opponent has. So Nidoking, yeah, I would gamble on Nidoking. See, I don't know. There's a few options here, because like looking down the list, Zoroark is another thing that could really definitely come. I have a few issues with dark types. You know, like Latias, Jellicent, they don't want to be dealing with it. Special variant with like, I don't know, extra sensory and Sludge Bomb. Suddenly Weezing is not looking so good. Suddenly Sylveon is not looking so good. He can always pack a flamethrower. I was about to say hidden power fire, it gets flamethrower. To deal with the Mega Sizzle that I suspect he thinks I'll be bringing, but I'm not. Heliolisk, honestly, I'm not sure he'll actually bring it this week. I genuinely think he has better options than Heliolisk this time around, whilst I've said that I want rocks because of Volt Switching Heliolisk. It's there as a precaution, more than the fact I actually think he's going to bring it, because I'm not sure he will. Gastrodon, again, I'm not sure about Gastrodon. It looks okay with the matchup, but I just think I have enough potent grass coverage to the point where he might not want to bring it. Dom, yeah, absolutely, definitely, 100% is Dom coming. Hitmonlee, don't think so. I have far too much that can deal with Hitmonlee. So, looking down the kind of things I said, I've sort of narrowed it down to, well, how many have I narrowed it down to? 7? Mega Lati, Skarmory, Florges, Nidoking, Zoroark, Gastro, Dom, yeah, okay. Oh no, I didn't think Gastro, did I? Yeah, Mega Latios, Skarmory, Florges, Nidoking, Zoroark, and Dom, kind of things I think he'll be bringing. Yeah, I was getting a bit confused with myself. Not Heliolisk, not necessarily Gastrodon, and almost certainly not Hitmonlee. So those are the things I think he will be bringing, and that is pretty much going to wrap things up from me. So, thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed. Once again, sorry this is going to be so late up. I'll try and catch things up as soon as possible. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled for the pre-game entertainment. It's going to be a good one, because I'm pretty sure Jack is providing some as well, which is always pleasant to have. It's always nice to have an opponent when it comes to the pre-game. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the match. That'll be going up sometime in this or next week, whenever I can get this uploaded. But yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap things up for me, as I say. Be sure to head down to the description. Check out all the links down there to the PPL, to Jack, to Titos. He'll be down there as well for the thumbnails. check all of those people and those guys and those groups out. You will not regret it. But as I say, I'm going to get on out of here. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.